Okay. Welcome everybody to our Juju live session, double Juju because it's Mr. Jorge and Miss Joana Mosqueda. So this is a double Juju live session on musicality in Egyptian dance, everything you always wanted to know about how to deal with the music, how to listen to the music, how to dance to the music, the rhythm, the melody, the lyrics, all that jazz. So this is the closing session of a course we held at Joana Seiras Online Dance School, Musicality for Oriental Dances. It's no longer available, the course, but we decided to open this last close-up live session to our dance community because I believe this is an incredibly important subject. And of course, I want to welcome you, Ustaz Juju, Mr. Jorge, once more to our live session. Thank you for all the work you've done in our course. Our students were so much in love with you and the quality of the content that you brought to them. So thank you in my name and in their name. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm speaking for them as well. Now, before we open the session, I would like you to introduce yourself for the dancers who may not know you. Let us know a little bit about yourself, just a quick presentation so that they know with whom they will be speaking with, right? So who are we, me and you, starting with you, please.
Okay, I'm a nerd. I love old music. I love Qanun music. And I love music history, especially medieval time, 8th to the 10th century in medieval Baghdad. Very, very rich tradition where it saw the combination of Greek learning, Persian learning, and Arabic learning to create an amazing musical world and a lot of writing about music. So I spend all my time doing this.
Beautiful. What is the part of your job that you love the most? Being an author, a teacher, a musician, which part do you love above all parts? Is there something
What I love the most is to play for a dancer and see the dancer inspire me and I inspire her. The chemistry is amazing. That's what I love about anything else.
Beautiful, beautiful. Guys, drop your highs, drop your questions once again. A quick presentation. So for the ones who don't know me yet, I started my career in Egypt. I became well known around the world after working in festivals, teaching, performing, lecturing. I worked with Mahmoud Reda, aside from my work as a solo dancer in Cairo. I published 2 books. I opened a pioneering online platform and school called Joana Seiras World and Joana Seiras Online Dance School. And very soon, I'm coming up with my podcast. And you will be in it.
Okay, if you say so.
And yes. You will have to be in it. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive into some of the questions that our students sent to me prior to this live session. So there were 2 ways of participating. You could either join us live, and that's the invitation I've been sharing with our onlookers, whoever is surrounding us right now. And also they could send the questions prior to the live session if they could not join us. So the ones I have here for you are or have been sent via email. The first one is something that I've asked you before. It's about your definition of mawal, right? But before you offer me your answer, let me just do a little introduction here on what we mean by musicality. So often what happens is that dancers of all levels, even professionals in the field of Egyptian dance, Oriental and folkloric, they're very much focused and sometimes obsessed with movement. We have been trained to believe that learning how to dance is learning how to move. And although dance is movement, it is much more than movement. And this is where your relationship with the music comes into the table. And this is where your knowledge of the music and your understanding of the music must be developed. So if you think of your learning journey as a dancer, a beginner dancer, professional dancer, somewhere in between, think in terms of knowing the music, understanding the music, and knowing what to do with the music. So there is also another question that we brought up in our course at the school, which is some dancers believe that if they understand the music, what is the rhythm, what is the makam, what are the lyrics saying, then they are dancers. That's not true. You can understand it and you may not know what to do with it. A dancer dances. So understanding what you are listening is the first step, but then you have to know what to do with it, right? I'm listening to the rhythm malfouf, meshi, okay, beautiful. What do you do with it? What can you do with that? How do you dance that, right? I'm listening to a specific instrument or makam, beautiful. It's great that you know what you are listening to, but what will you create from that sound? How will you use that creatively? That's what makes you a dancer. It's not the theory itself. The theory is the start. It's general culture, it's education. But then comes the practical side, and that's what dancers do. We dance. Okay, so I just wanted to make that little note to make clear why musicality is so important, why the music is so important, and why it is urgent for us to call the attention of dancers for its importance. Okay, so you may divide your attention between movement and music, and if you do that, you will be already in the right path. Okay, so first thing is I would like to know your definition of mawal. This was one of the many questions we received inside the course, and I found that a lot of other dancers would want to know about it. So this is an Arabic term that many dancers will hear about here and there, and I received a request for your definition of mawal. So would you please share it with us?
Of course. Mawal and Yalil Yain have the same music. Yalil Yain is Oh My Eye, Oh My Night, and the singer can go on for 20 minutes improvising, and the music has no drum to it, it's free. Mawal is exactly the same type of music, but it's a folk poem. It's not a classical poem, it is a poem in Egyptian dialect. And there is a Spanish scholar who wrote a whole book, El Mawal Egipcio, and I'll send you the information. It is in Spanish and very, very interesting.
Yeah. I'm gonna write it down.
Yeah, El Mawal Egipcio.
El Mawal Egipcio.
Yeah.
Ah, how nice. Okay.
It's very, I mean, it's probably 40, 50 years ago.
Do you know how to sing a mawal?
No, no, I'm a terrible singer. Terrible. No, no, no.
Okay.
The me.
I make you shy. This is outstanding, huh? What an achievement. I make you shy. That's incredible. Okay. Another question specifically for you, okay, for Mr. Jorge. In his website, so in your website, you wrote Tarab music, Taksim Tarab style. Watch also for the unpredictability of the taksims and the broken sequences, often elongated at the end. Could you please illustrate and explain what did you mean?
Sure.
With the kanun?
Of course.
Okay, great. So I'm going to repeat the question just in case while Mr. Jorge prepares himself. This is one of our students at Musicality for Oriental Dancers, the course I mentioned. She wrote, I think this was Jennifer, Tarab music, Taksim Tarab style, watch out for the unpredictability of the taksims and the broken sequences, often elongated at the end. So the student asks Mr. Jorge to illustrate and explain.
Yeah, you can never know what the musician will do. I can start a taksim like this. Or I can start any way I want. So it's not, you can never know what the musician will do. Sequence. If you repeat what you did, the same sequence, it's not a pattern anymore. It's very boring. You have to change the sequence. You have to break it. So if I'm here, this is one sequence. Ta-ra-ra, ta-ra-ra-ra, ta-ra-ra-ra. 4 notes, and then another 4 note, a note higher. If I continue doing this, it's not fun. If I continue doing, it becomes like a stupid exercise. I'm going to break it. 4, 4, and then do 7. So this is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the broken sequence. And Taksim have a lot of broken sequences. You can have 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, whatever you want.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So you have to be ready that the musician is going to break the sequence. Your body has to move the same way.
They must be present, right? We spoke about it in the course. Like the dancer must be present with the musician.
Yes.
And the musician must be present with the dancer. So if they are each one working by themselves as if they were alone, if there is no synchronicity, no generosity, no attention, no communication, there is no way a dancer will be able to catch those ornamentations and differences and pauses and unexpected details and stuff that is not programmed. So there is not a secret for it. Sometimes I think dancers believe there is a specific skill to catch those differences and those surprising details and changes in the music. There is no secret. You have to be present. You have to be willing to listen to that musician, to that person, as if you were talking. So imagine it's a good conversation. You are interested in what the other person is telling you. You are truly interested. So you take time, you listen.
Yeah.
You listen.
Your ear is your best teacher.
Yes, absolutely. And for that, you need generosity as well. I think that generosity from both sides is important. The dancer must respect the musician, and the musician must respect the dancer, and then they listen to each other. Okay. So another question before I say hi to our students. I've seen some of our students from the course here. Star, you were not with us in the course, but welcome. Hi, Denise, also not with us, but Jamila was with us, and Juniper also. Guys, take the opportunity to let us know how was the course for you. How was your experience? Share it in the comments, please. We would like to hear about it, okay? Now, let's go to the next questions. What do I have to pay attention to in the music? This is a very basic question. We answered it in the course, I believe, in so many ways. But I chose to answer it again because I think that although it's an obvious question, I think, it is an important one and the question that many dancers don't know how to answer. So what am I listening to in the music, or what should I be listening to in the music? I'm going to let you answer and then I'm going to give them my perspective. What would you say?
Yeah, it's a whole package. You can break it down. This is the rhythm. This is the instrumentation. That's the violin here, the qanun there, the keyboard there, the lyrics. So you can break it down, but in the end, you have to put them all together. Watch for the rhythm, watch for the melody, the contour of the melody, the voice of the singer, what he's saying, what the song says, all of these.
Exactly. Yeah. So what you're saying, the whole package, I like the way you put it, because the whole package it's the unit. And I always recommend dancers to give it a first listening. Like, you know, when you're listening a song for the first time, you know, have a feel of the unit, have the feel of the entire thing to know if you like it, if you feel it, identify the style of the music. You know, there is a lot to gain from that whole package, that unit thing. And then there is a lot to gain from breaking it down. And in terms of dance, they need to pay attention to different categories. So when I think of Egyptian music, I always think in 3 different blocks: the percussive section of the orchestra, the melodic section of the orchestra, and then the voice if there is a singer, right? So knowing how to deal with these 3 sections, melody, rhythm, and lyrics, it's like basic toolkit for an Oriental dancer. Within the percussion, you need to identify what is playing and what is it saying. It can be the darbuka, the dohola, the rik, the duf, sagat, tura. It varies from music to music. The same thing for the melodic section. What is playing and what is it saying? Yani maybe the kamanga, maybe the ney, the kanun, the oud. I don't know. What is happening in the melodic section? And in the lyrics, the same thing. What is the story about? What is the story about? What is it saying? It's not just someone opening their mouth and making sound. It's a storytelling process. So when you listen to lyrics, you have the additional challenge of having to tell a story. And it is a story that has already been written. It is not open to interpretation, and in the subject, in the way that is not subjective. It is objective. When we dance to Alfu Layla Layla, we already know there is a storyline. There are lyrics already. Somebody created for them, for the musicians, for the singer, for the dancer. And as a dancer, you have to understand what is the story saying and how can I tell it in my own way. And this is a level of musicality that many dancers never ask for. They never wonder about. They focus too much on the rhythm. Most dancers, they go for the rhythm because it's the easiest to catch. Some go for rhythm melody, and very few know how to do with the lyrics. What to do? What do I do with this? So it is important to understand what are the lyrics saying, what is the story saying, and how can I tell this story, making it my own.
Ideally, you have to have a translation of the song to get the idea of the theme. But you should also have each Arabic word translated into Spanish, English, or whatever. Because when you translate it, the word order changes. In Arabic, the verb comes at the beginning. In German, the verb comes at the end. In English, whatever. So make sure that you know what every word means. I've seen dancers singing to very sad love songs and smiling and clapping.
Exactly.
I've seen other dancers moving their hips to songs praising the Prophet Muhammad. That's very insulting for people.
Exactly. That's what I mean by understanding the lyrics. Obviously, there is a level of understanding and interpretation if you speak Arabic.
Yeah.
So if you do speak Arabic, each word hits you like a bullet.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more the effect of the lyrics. It's more immediate because you are singing it in your head and you know what it means. But if you don't, and the majority of students of Egyptian dance don't know Arabic, so as you were saying, it's a good idea to have the translation of phrase to phrase, and if possible, word by word, or at least the most significant concepts in each phrase. It's very important. And then ask, how is this my story? How is this my story in a way? Because if I cannot relate to the story, I cannot dance it properly.
Exactly.
So there must be a kind of personal relationship between me and this story. And if I feel it, I can dance it. Okay?
Yeah.
Another question that we have here. So how do I differentiate between the basic rhythms and the rhythmic ornamentations? Okay? Another question that a lot of dancers may have. This came from within the course, but it could come from anywhere because it's a common question. Dancers don't really know the difference. Many do, but much more do not know the difference between what is a rhythmic base and what is an ornamentation, details. Okay, so before I launch this question at you, I would like to add something important, that usually if you have a well-composed musical piece or an orchestra, a good orchestra, you will have two percussive instruments working together, the dohola and the tabla or darbuka. Okay, so this is the ideal thing, is to have a dohola, which is a larger darbuka, and then the tabla, and they work together. They're like twins. They come together and they do everything together. They go to the bathroom together, everything together. So usually the dohola will give you the basic rhythms. Dum tak tak dum tak dum tak tak dum tak. The tabla or darbuka will give you the ornamentation above the basic rhythms the doholla is producing. Okay, so and Egyptian musicians call the doholla el-ard. It creates el-ard. El-ard means the floor. Literally, it's the floor. It's the floor upon which the tabal, the musician who plays the tabla or darbuka, is going to ornament. So the main difference between a rhythmic bass or a basic rhythm, maksum, malfuf, fallahi, samai, wahda kibira, mazmudi, whatever, and the ornamentation is one is the floor, it's the base, and the other one is the cherry on top of the cake that the tabal is going to put above the basic rhythm. Okay, and if you imagine the doholla creating the basic rhythms and the tabla or darbuka creating the ornamentation, it's easier to understand. So the doholla is the ard, el-ard, the floor, the base. The tabla creates the ornamentation, the details. Okay, so what do you do to distinguish them? Can you help them?
Of course, if you have this book, it was in PDF, ready for you for free. There are 65 tracks of instruction in the back. So, for example, we have something like a U rhythm, and there are there are 20 different rhythms. Each one is played first 8 times, fundamental. Ardeya or art on the drum. Then the tambourine comes in, does the variation. So they're quite different. Then after this, there is a melody. So you have 3 levels. You have the ardeya, the fundamental, and then you have the ornamented rhythm. Then you have the rhythm of the melody. They're all different. They relate to each other, but they are different. And this is where your various part of your bodies interact. You may dance to the fundamental, you may dance to the ornamental tabla or the rhythm of the melody or the lyrics. So it's very complicated music. It's very beautiful, but very complicated.
I have one tip for dancers, actually, a very practical one, very simple thing, which is if you know and have integrated the basic rhythms, the basic structures, the lardaya, it is easier to identify foreign elements.
Yes.
If you don't know the basic rhythms, the ardaya,
you're in trouble.
It's all sound. It's all percussion. It's difficult to distinguish what is what. And if it's difficult to distinguish what is what here, it's going to be impossible to distinguish it in your body. Because if I cannot listen clearly, if I don't have clarity here, I don't have clarity in my body. This is why when you have clean music, beautiful music, it is easier to dance well because I can hear it clearly, I can dance clearly. When you have chaotic music, badly composed or badly played, if I listen to zahma, yani chaos here, there will be chaos in my body.
Yes.
So there is a direct correlation between what I listen and what I can do with my body, what people call dance, right? So once you know the basic rhythms and you have them integrated, they are clear, they are obvious, they are familiar to you, any foreign element, ornamentations, details, anything that may be added becomes more obvious, becomes more clear. And then you can make the creative decision. What am I going to use? I use the ardea, I use a detail, I use a pause, I use whatever I want because I can identify it. I can identify the elements, so I can choose what to use. But if I cannot identify the elements in my ear, I will not identify them in my movement.
Correct.
Okay, so watch out for this. And actually, we're going to have the Rhythms for Oriental Dancers course. In a second, I'm going to tell everybody about it. And that's really going to help you dive into the rhythms and knowing them. Now, before I move forward with the questions, let me read what our beautiful dancers are sharing. Juniper says, okay, Juniper has a question. When you hear the Ayub rhythm, does the style of dance change?
Oh, sure.
When you hear the Ayub rhythm, does the style of dance change? Guys, in principle, it changes. Also because the Ayub, it's very specific. It's a very specific rhythm. The same thing applies for Saidi rhythm or for Masmoudi. Usually when you listen to a new rhythm, usually you're going to change. You're going to read that different flavor, that different mood, that different style, if it is a different style, okay? But remember that every rule is also meant to be broken. So I may change, I may not change. It really depends on my mood, but in principle, as a rule, you do change, okay? What else are you sharing, guys?
Just that you have
let
two
me see.
There's the Ayub of the Zar, which is very slow, and its function is to remove the Ayub genie out of your system, out of your body. There's also the lighter and faster Ayub that you find a lot in Tahaya karaoke and Semi Gamal music. Pa 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 pum ta 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 tum ta, as opposed to dum pa pum pa pum pa pum pa pum.
Opa, oh, I'm gone. You're alone doing the live. خلاص بقى. I went into Taram على طول. Yeah, the Ayub, guys, for the ones who don't know, Ayub is referring to what dancers usually call Zar. It's more known. And as Mr. George was saying, it can be played in different ways, faster, slower, different cadences. And it really feels different. It feels different. If it's faster, if it's slower. Let me see what else you're sharing. Jamila says, in flamenco, there is a hierarchy in relation to the dancer and the musicians. For example, first was the song, so the singer can change the song at will, and the dancer, guitarist, cajon player honor their change. Is there such a hierarchy in Arabic performance?
I didn't understand the two terms.
Okay, I'm going to explain. I'll explain. So in flamenco, there is a hierarchy in relation to the dancer and the musicians. And then Jamila gives examples. For example, first was the song, so the singer can change the song at will, and the dancer, guitarist, the guitar player, and the cajon player. The cajon is the percussion typical for flamenco. The little, it looks like a sitting bench, and the percussionists play it like that. I don't know if you've ever seen it. The cajon, it's specific for flamenco. It's percussive instrument. They honor their change. Is there such a hierarchy in Arabic performance?
Well, they change all the time. Yeah, I mean, a good performer should not perform the song twice the same way. You ornament it differently every time. And the same with the drummer. But if you know the music, this should not confuse you, because it's part of the language. Yeah.
I'm not sure about what kind of hierarchy Jamila is talking about. There is no specific order of who's going to play first. Depends on the song, depends on the musical piece we are dealing with. There is a hierarchy inside an orchestra. And sometimes the hierarchy is assumed, it's owned, and sometimes it's indirect. So I'm going to give you an example. In my orchestra in Egypt, we had the official leader of the orchestra, which was the accordionist at some point. And then the accordion, after the accordion player, we had the org player, melodic instrument players who knew how to read and write music. But usually the real leader of the orchestra was the tabbal. And that was for many reasons, because the tabbal set the tone and the rhythm for the entire orchestra.
Yeah.
Because in my case, I had the tabal who knew very much about music, so he could give directions to his colleagues in a very efficient, good way. And also because sometimes it's the personality of the musician that stands out and leads in a natural way. So the leadership in an orchestra varies from orchestra, varies from the musician that is the best prepared. In the end, we also want the best possible results. So whoever is the best leader is the one who's going to make it. I don't care if he's the tabal or the accordionist or the ney player. I don't care. I want a person who can get me the best work. That's it. And between the musicians and the dancer, there is a hierarchy and there is not. I don't know how is your experience. I'm going to ask you about it. But from my experience, of course, there is a hierarchy in the sense that, at least with my team, the musicians I always worked with in Egypt, I was the one hiring those musicians. And I was the one, in many ways, orchestrating the music with them. I told them how I wanted the music. I identified mistakes. I was always there doing that job with them. I was very, very immersed in their job. But I wouldn't call it a hierarchy because I saw it as a teamwork. So although I was the one employing and choosing the orchestra, so we could say there is a hierarchy there. You're the boss and you are hiring and managing these musicians. But in creative terms, I saw them as part of my dance. I saw them as my team. I did not feel like I was the leader, they were following me, or they were the leaders, I was following them. It did not work like that. It was very organic. They did their best for me, and I did my best for us. That's it. We all wanted to work for the same goal. So that it was not a question of who comes first or who is leading this show or whom calls the shots. Ultimately, if you are performing with a live orchestra and they are your musicians, they know you well, the dancer has the power to ask for things. So very often in a show, you will ask a musician to cut it off or to extend the musical piece. Or if somebody is screwing up, you will look at them and do the eyebrow thing. Yes. And they will understand, cut it off. You're screwing up. There are many ways of communicating, but I don't see it like a leader and a follower. I see it more like a teamwork of artists that are creating, trying to produce the best possible product. This is how I see it.
One the famous singer, Kulthum, received a new song. She spent 2 months rehearsing, and she worked with the composer, and she would ask him to change things, and she worked with the orchestra, and the orchestra had a lot of input. So they all cooperated to produce a song after 2 months of hard work. And you can see it's just so perfect. And no music stand or notation allowed. Everything is done by heart, by ear, by heart. And it's just one whole, one compact.
Exactly. Jamila was clarifying. She wanted to know who leads. I think we answered her. It really also depends from dancer to dancer and how they see their work and what is their relationship with the musicians. So as I was saying, it is assumed that the dancer is the leader, especially if you're the one hiring. I think that makes a big difference. Certainly in Egypt, it makes a big difference. Who hires whom? If you're the one hiring, musicians feel like they have to abide by certain requests and rules because you are the one employing everybody. So there is a responsibility and there is a respect that comes along with it. But ultimately, they will give you hints on what works and what doesn't. They will give you suggestions. My musicians were bringing me suggestions every day, literally. Juju, listen to this, check this, let me play this for you. I want you to check this. So I was every day, I was listening to new music they wanted me to listen. Sometimes I loved it. Sometimes I did not like it. Sometimes I absolutely adored it. I say, we have to do this today. But there was this interaction always, all the time. And this generosity, again, the word generosity,
Yes.
of musicians giving me their best, giving me their best. In leadership, I do believe that respect and love is important.
Yes.
Also, because
Absolutely.
if musicians feel you have no love and no respect for them, they're not going to give you their best. In the end of the day, we are dealing with people, right? And people like to be loved and respected. So
Absolutely.
if you're dealing with musicians with respect, and I always respected all my musicians, you know, especially the older ones, absolute reverence and respect, as if they were my teachers.
They know so much. Yeah.
And they felt it, they knew it, and they appreciated that, and they gave me respect back. This is how it goes, you know. But in the end of the day, it's not so much who is the boss, it's who needs to step up and give a direction. Usually it is the dancer, but it can also be a musician. So I prefer to talk about teamwork,
yes,
instead of leadership.
good.
Let me see what else you are sharing, guys. Let me see. I don't want to miss any of your comments. Okay. We have beautiful comments about our course, telling us that they loved it. For some reason, I'm not able to read all the comments. Facebook ate the comments somehow. I don't know how, but I'm going to keep an eye on the comments and see if I can read a few more. Okay. Now, another question that we've received via email on Musicality. How do I become better at listening and interpreting the music? We answered this question inside the course, but again, because I was sent the question and I think so many dancers will have it, I decided to go for it, give it a go again, because I know this will be useful for a lot of dancers. So how do I become better at listening and interpreting the music?
Make sure to listen to a lot of music and then say, okay, right now I'm going to concentrate only on the percussion. Then I'm going to move on and concentrate on the lyrics. And then most importantly, I'm going to concentrate on the musical form, because it's not just one melody. It's a juxtaposition of melodies. And they're always contrasting. Analyze the music before you dance, so you don't make mistakes. Musical forms are very important.
Mm-hmm. There's so much I could tell about this, but there is one thing that I would certainly tell dancers, which is, amongst many other things that you can do in order to become a better listener and interpreter, I do believe that acknowledging the importance of music is where it all starts. And I know this sounds obvious. You know, sometimes I say something and people say, oh, that's so obvious. Yeah, it is obvious, but nobody does it. So sometimes we ignore the obvious. You know, we don't see the obvious. It's so obvious, we don't see it. It's in our face. So what do I mean by understanding that it all starts in the music? As I mentioned in the beginning of the session, we, and by we I include myself, dancers in general, in Egyptian dance, in other fields, we are trained to move. Okay? I remember when I studied classical ballet as a child and a teenager, there were no classes on the music. You know, I got used to listen to Chopin and Tchaikovsky and whatever composer we were working with at home with my parents, because my parents had the good sense of bringing music into the house. So my father would buy vinyl, you know, the discs, the vinyl, the old discs.
Oh, yeah.
The old discs, and we would listen to classical music at home, and then we would dance it at the conservatoire at school. But in the school, I don't remember ever having a class on the music, what you are listening to, why we're moving the way we're moving, what are the instruments, how is the composition. Never. I don't remember. So dancers are not trained to listen. They are trained to move. And because they are trained to move, they believe that's their only focus.
And yeah.
In order to be a dancer, I need to learn dance vocabulary, and I need to learn one more choreography, and I need to learn how to do steps and how to do turns and how to do shimmies, and how it's all there in the movement. And we are not trained to listen. So this is where the problem and the disconnection with the music starts, is that we are not educated for listening, and we are not educated to respect the music. So if you are never trained to respect the music, you think it is not that important. The important is that I know how to move. And the music comes second, third place. And the problem is that Egyptian dance starts in the music.
Of course.
I remember all those years I was working in Egypt. You know, one of the things I observed from audiences was how they valued a dancer who could listen. You know, Egyptian audiences, I speak about Egyptian audiences, not tourists. I mean, Egyptian audiences, because they know how to listen, they appreciate a dancer who knows how to listen and who moves from that place of deep connection with the music. So my answer to this question, amongst many other things I'm not going to mention because we did that inside our course, is in order to become a better listener and interpreter of the music, acknowledge the importance of the music. Give it a bit of your time, a bit of your attention, a bit of your focus. Instead of being so obsessed with movement and steps and choreographies and running around meaninglessly, take a step back, stop, and listen to the music you're going to work with. Really listen to it. What is it saying? What are the phrases saying? How does it start? How does it end? Does it have different styles in it? Does it have different instruments, different mechanet, different rhythms? Respect and value the music. This is how you start becoming a better listener, okay? An interpreter, of course. Hi, Tamara. Hi. Tamara says, often I do not know who the band will be. We have no relationship before the show. Okay. So this is an important comment. I love that. So Tamara, I worked with orchestras that were not my orchestra many times, not in Egypt, but outside of Egypt. When I started traveling for festivals, I did not travel with my musicians. So I have caught different orchestras whose musicians I did not know. And very often there was no time for rehearsals as well. So I remember Argentina, for instance, I worked with Mario Kirlis orchestra, beautiful orchestra and beautiful musician, very nice gentleman. He's a beautiful person. In Greece, in different countries, I remember I had to work in the UK, in London, in Ireland. In many places, I was caught by surprise. In Czech Republic as well, by musicians I had never met. And usually you may have time for a quick rehearsal, very quick, but you may not have time for rehearsal as well. Okay, it happened to me many times. So what do you do when you meet musicians that you don't know, right? It's very different from working with an orchestra, which is your own. They know you, you know them, you know how they're going to play, you have rehearsed, you have prepared. So what would you say, Tamara? What would you tell Tamara? What do you do, Mr. Jorge, if you don't know the orchestra?
Just move with the flow. Move with the music. Nothing he can do.
Yanni, in other words, good luck. Good luck.
Be quick.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I'm joking, but I agree with you. First of all, I think you have to be, as I already mentioned, very present, even more than if you were with your own orchestra. because your level of attention has to be higher, right? You don't know how they're going to play. You don't know if they make mistakes, they don't make. You don't know if they change a lot, the music, they don't change. It depends from musician to musician. You don't know if they play in a way that you like, you don't like, you know, you don't know anything. It's really a big question mark. You have to go for it. As Mr. George was saying, go with the flow. And you also have to know how to communicate with them.
Yeah.
Especially if they're not your musicians. They don't know you. They don't read your mind. They don't know what you like. They don't know you as a dancer. Or maybe if they do, they're not used to dancing with you, to performing with you, right? So don't be afraid to ask for things. Ask for things, I don't mean you start talking in the middle of the performance, but you ask for things with your face. You get closer to the tabla, Yani. Yalla, ba, I need you. Yalla. Give me a little bit of the tabla, I offend them, you know, or if I need a little bit more of the accordion, I get closer to the accordion. I give him a hint, Yalla, I need you now. Don't be afraid to show what you need. I think, and I've seen these dancers, you know, they get too focused and self-absorbed, and they forget about the orchestra, and then they complain that the orchestra was going there and they were going elsewhere. Of course, I mean, if the musicians don't know you and you don't tell them what you need, there is no communication, there is no clues, how they will not guess. They're not mind readers. So it's important to be connected, especially if the musicians don't know you and you don't know them. Ask for what you want. Get closer to the person playing what you need. If they're playing too fast, tell them to go, Yani. Go slower. Ask a simple gesture, you know, yalla, shwaya, shwaya, give me time a little bit. If you need them to go faster, more lively, tell them, yalla, ba. They understand. Okay? They understand. And musicians like engagement. They don't like you to go half dead, you know. They like a dancer who is alive, who is engaged, who cares. Somebody who cares, you know. So communication, 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 and presence. That's what I would tell you, Tamara. Okay? And not being afraid to express what you need while you perform, of course. It's a little multitasking, huh? Your face is, yeah. I'll try, yeah. A little bit multitasking. But it must be, okay? Otherwise, you're going to go to south and they're going to go to the north. And it's not nice. Not nice for you, not nice for them. What else are you sharing, guys? Let me see if I don't lose any question. Oh, my God. Juniper says, I have been told by some people that it is not okay to dance to Kulthum. Are there songs by Kulthum that are not for dancing? Or do you think it may be offensive to some people? I have always wanted to dance to her music, but worried to upset people. What do you think?
Okay, I think Kulthum gave Suhir Zaki the permission to dance to her introductions, not to the song proper. And later on, everybody's dancing to Kulthum, and most people don't understand the words. And it's no fun. A lot of dance teacher, Egyptian dance teacher, they remanufacture Kulthum song for dancers. Mohammed Shaheen has his own CDs where there is Kulthum song, but it's changed where there's a bit more drumming here, a bit more taksim there to fit the dancer. So it's sort of more, it fits better for the dancing. But to dance to Kulthum from a recording of Kulthum, probably very difficult. And I think Kulthum would not have been happy to have people dance to her music. I mean, if you dance properly, understand what she's saying, it may be okay. But if you totally destroy the meaning, she'll be really mad. And don't get her mad. She's a tough cookie.
She would beat you by her ship.
Oh, yeah, of course. Ship.
أضربك بالشبشب. For sure. Now, you know, I love Kulthum, and of course, and I've used Kulthum's music so much. The instrumental introduction and the lyrics as well. I do agree there is a sort of, it's not only respect, it's kind of a reverence for Kulthum that leads a lot of dancers to feel afraid to dance to it, especially to the lyrics. I think that's a mix of the respect people have for Kulthum's name and her legacy, and at the same time, the fear, justified fear, of messing up.
Yeah.
Because it is so challenging to dance, especially to the lyrics, and especially if you have the guts to dance to one of our original recordings.
Yeah.
Wow, good luck. Then I'm the one who tells you good luck. I've done it before. It is so hard.
It's also it's also very, very slow music.
It is. It is. Yeah.
And sometimes you cannot find the beat.
Yes.
Dancing with the music.
Yeah, it depends on the music. It depends on the song. Some songs are easier to dance. Some are a little bit slower, a little bit more difficult to catch in terms of dance. And as you were saying, there have been new orchestrations of Kulthum's themes, a little bit more suited for dance.
Yes.
I am not a particular fan. I love the original, I have to confess. And very often what I do with my students is I choose pieces that are suitable for dance, easier for dance. But I do agree that dancing to the lyrics, especially to Kulthum's voice, it's incredibly challenging. And it can be frustrating because then you have her voice. You have her voice, her interpretation, which is at the highest level. How can you measure up? And I'm not saying this, out of idolatry. I'm saying this from a very practical point of view because I've done it. And, you feel like, you know what? This is meant to be listened to. This is not meant to be danced to because it is too good. It is too, her voice, her interpretation, the way it is coming out of her throat. It's not like it's untouchable, but most of the times I would rather listen to it than dance to it, and sometimes I will dance to it. So it is not forbidden, it is not forbidden. Nobody will kill you, or arrest you if you dance to Kulthum. It is above all very challenging. More than forbidden, it's really, really difficult. Okay, so if you want to go for it, I would go for an orchestration or a kind of a song, one of her songs that is more suited for dance, and I would be ready for the challenge, or at least I would humble myself into it and learn from it, because you will always learn from it. That's for sure. But it is not forbidden. Christina says, I've known the same drummers for years, and their playing totally depends on their mood. Exactly. Yes. Mazegum. I can tell if they are happy and enjoying the moment or if they are angry just by how they hit the drum. I agree with Mr. George. Go with the flow is all you can do. Yes. Do you agree that Egyptian musicians work by mazeg, by mood?
Of course.
No, at all. خالص. Nothing. Not by mood at all. Absolutely by mood, guys. Absolutely. But as it should be. As it should be, no? You should also dance by your mood, because this is what you're feeling right now. It is true. If it is true, it's powerful. Yani, if I am dancing from my mood, mazegi, I am dancing from what I'm feeling right now. It's going to be powerful because it's honest. It's honest. This is honestly how I'm feeling right now. It's the same thing for musicians. And I think Egyptian musicians are the best at that. I've worked with musicians, Lebanese, Syrian, they don't have, sorry guys, if there is Lebanese or Syrian musicians listening to us, I'm so sorry. But from my experience, that ability to work, to create from how you feel, that's very Egyptian. It's very Egyptian. Egyptian musicians do it like nobody else. They're really, present and really moving from their heart, how they are in that second. And because it's so true, it hits you, it touches you, it moves you. You can feel it's true.
Also, their touch is gentle. It's not rough music at all. It's very gentle music. Very gentle
Yes.
music, yeah.
Yes. Yes. Emotional. Emotional. Okay, guys, keep them coming. I'm loving your questions. What is more important in Egyptian music? Rhythm, melody, or the lyrics?
All three, don't cut them, don't divide them.
Okay, exactly, exactly. Every dancer, I think, will have their preferences. Some dancers are, they love rhythm, they love percussion, and some dancers, all they will ever do is percussion. You know, I know dancers who only do tabla solos and percussion. They're crazy about percussion. Some dancers like more the melody, the melodic instrument. Some dancers never dance to lyrics, so they choose musical pieces without storyline, either because they don't understand the lyrics, they think it's a fuss to translate them, or because they find it too hard. But I would also consider the three areas, guys. That's part of Egyptian music at large. Of course, sometimes you will have musical pieces without lyrics. Sometimes you will have musical pieces with just percussion. But usually speaking, you're going to find a mix of the three. So the more familiar and comfortable you are with the three, the better. Okay.
I remember
Another question.
Raya Hassan was in Toronto and she was very upset. She said, people dance wrong. They only dance to the drum. That's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the other one was very famous dancer also. Her name will come in a minute. She said that the weak dancer are those who only dance to the drum. So make sure to dance to all three.
Exactly. I do think that rhythm or the percussion is the easiest for Western ears.
Yeah.
So usually what will happen is dancers or students start to absorb the rhythm. That's that's the kind of sound that is the easiest for a Western ear. That's the first thing you're going to catch. And I think that's normal. The problem is that you never go through melody and lyrics. You stay with the rhythm forever and ever and ever. And you don't go into the melody. You don't know what to do with the melody or with the lyrics. You stay with the percussion and you don't leave percussion. That's it. And that's what Rakia was referring to for sure. Is that Western dancers grab the percussion and that's it. They don't know how to use anything else because it's easier for our ears. So it's normal, but then you have to go beyond it. You know, you have to move beyond the percussion. All right. Another question. How do I know if I'm choosing the best music for me? I think this was referring to when dancers are choosing music for a performance, for competition. How do I know if I'm choosing the best music for me? Would you like to answer this one?
Well, it depends on your style, and make sure it's a good recording, and make sure that you know the music well and it fits your taste. I think that's my advice.
Okay. Okay. Um, we've also mentioned this in the course. I think I might have mentioned this in the course. So the choice of music is incredibly important. And what I always tell dancers is, first of all, choose something that you love, because if you don't love it, you're not going to be able to dance with pleasure. And if there is no pleasure, if there is no enjoyment, there's no fun, especially if you are performing, because you want to give pleasure to your performance. You want to enjoy yourself so that they enjoy themselves watching you, right? So love the music. Choose something that moves you, something that makes you want to dance, a song that you love to hear, okay? And then identify the style. Make sure that you know what you are listening to, okay? Am I choosing a Saidi piece? Is this a Saidi? What is Saidi? Am I choosing a Nubian piece, a classical piece, modern piece, tabla solo, shabi, baladi, an awadi? What is that? What am I listening to? In terms of style, what am I preparing to work with, right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't know the style, you're going to mess up. You choose a song or a musical piece, you don't know the style, and you will feel lost. You will not feel confident, and you'll probably use vocabulary, posture, a feeling that has nothing to do with the music. So loving the music and knowing the style, I would say that these are the most important things. Okay. And of course, know what is that music for? Is that for a performance? Is that for a competition? Is that for your own pleasure? Is that for a workshop? Because depending on the purpose of the music, you're going to choose different music. I don't choose the same music for a class that I choose for a performance. I have to know what works in a performance, what works on stage, and what kind of stage. Am I going to perform in a big theater or in a small venue? Because that also makes difference in the choice of music. Okay, so also think, where am I going to dance this music? Where? What is the context? And according to the context, you choose the appropriate music. Okay, I hope that helped. Now, this is specifically for you, Mr. Jorge. What is your favorite Makam and your favorite rhythm, and why?
Makams are very, very tricky. I think I love all of them. But my favorite rhythm is the Grand Masmoudi. It's very majestic, slow. Tum taka tum traka tak tum chika taka tak raka taka 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 dum. Oh, this is
continue. I love it. I love it.
The old musics always start with the Grand Masmoudi. You can see the karaoke dancing to it. It's so much. It's so beautiful, so majestic. And you do it and you play it on the drum and you feel high. I like the Saidi also and the Fallahi. But I mean, the Grand Masmoudi is it. It's the best.
I agree with you. I love the Grand Masmoudi. It's beautiful, beautiful, very sensual and relaxing.
Yes.
It rocks you, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It rocks you. It's like when you were a baby, you know, being rocked by your mom. It's so nice, beautiful. By the way, guys, we are pre-launching a new course, Rhythms for Oriental Dancers. We're going to have a couple of bonus master classes with Mr. Jorge on rhythmology, and we're going to work on 8 Egyptian rhythms, musical wise and dance wise. So at the end of this Juju live session, I'm going to tell you about it. We're only launching inside our platform for our community. So if you want to know about it, I will share the link in the comments to this session. Okay, and you may share it with your dance peeps, and you may join it. Okay, this is going to be awesome, and it's going to be the most in-depth training I've ever done in terms of rhythms. You're going to break the rhythms down with the students. I'm also going to break them down with Sagat, and with my own rhythmology exercises that I haven't used online ever. It's going to be the first time I use my method online, and it's going to be so amazing. And it's going to stay at the school forever because it's that important. I want dancers to come back to it again and again. But I'll tell you more about it in a second. Now, Jamila is asking, if you are performing for a particular ethnic group, should one always use their music? It seems logical, but sometimes the sponsors will ask for Egyptian.
Well, if you play for a Syrian wedding or a Palestinian wedding, it'd be good to play their music. But also, everybody knows Egyptian music. They can relate to it. So you can play both. You can use the music, 2 different musics. Yeah, that'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Christina shares, do your homework. That's what I always say. Juniper says, much love to you. Joanne and Mr. Jorge, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your hearts. I'm so blessed to have you both as my teachers. Hopefully one day I can meet you both in person. Oh, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it?
Pray for you.
It would be wonderful. Thank you, Juniper, and thank you for being a part of our school and our course. You are beautiful in and out, and it's always so nice to have you on board. Now, one more question, the last one that I have here. So guys, last call. If you want to share your questions, this is now, okay? Share them now before we close. The last question we were sent via email is there a secret for great musicality, something only exceptional dancers know about?
Well,
is there a secret?
if you know the compact, the complete package. See, Egyptian dancers are born with the music. They don't think about it. Sort of natural to them. And think of it the same way after you break everything down, put them all together, and just let the music tell you what to do. Flow the music, will be a great dancer. Think too much was not good. Because the audience know that you're thinking.
When I wrote this question, when I was gathering the questions that the students sent, and I wrote them by hand, so I have them here, guys. I have to write them by hand in order to think about them. I was thinking about, is there a secret? Because we shared a lot in the course. And as you were saying, it's a package of different things, different skills that you develop as a dancer. But I actually think there is a secret. I wouldn't call it a secret. It's not going to be a secret anymore because I'm about to speak about it. But I do think there is a small thing that I actually learned from Suher Zaki. So I took a couple of private lessons with Suher Zaki when she was teaching at Ahlan wa Sahlan Festival organized by Rakia. Yeah. And I was really lucky to catch her before she disappeared. So she was not teaching anymore. All the years I was working in Egypt, I tried to find her again because I wanted to meet her, speak with her and study with her and be with her as much as I could. And I couldn't find her. But I did catch her during that festival, and I had a few private lessons with her. And there was one thing that struck me as particularly revealing. And she was your typical Egyptian teacher in the sense that she did not explain any movement to me. She would just dance and I would follow her. That's it. That was our classes, okay? There was no explaining of movements or breaking down or choreography. There was no such a thing. It was her dancing and me by her side trying to follow. That's it, okay? Now, very often what I did was that I stopped to watch her. Instead of moving along with her, I stopped to observe, just watching her.
Yes.
And I noticed that she was absolutely vulnerable. She couldn't care less about impressing me or giving me a good class. Even in teaching terms, I mean, in pedagogic terms, the classes were horrible. You know, I wouldn't call it teaching because she just danced and I followed. That's not what I call teaching, right? So by many standards, that was not a good class, okay? But she couldn't care less about it. She was totally immersed in the music. And she was leaving the music from within. She was not dancing. She was leaving the music.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Leaving. You could see the music pouring out of her, the emotion, her life memories, her sadness, her loss, her love, her life. Almost as if she was giving you a movie of her life.
Fantastic.
I was shocked.
Did you cry? Did you cry?
Absolutely, of course, many times. Many times. I cried because of the effect she was having on me, and I cried because I realized I was seeing something that I would probably never see again.
Wow. Amazing.
And I never saw it again.
Amazing.
Okay. I was aware, you know, one of those moments when you know this is exceptional. I will probably never experience and see something like this again. And I never saw it again. I hope to see it one day. I did not lose my hope, but I cried out of emotion, and I cried because I knew I was watching something divine, really divine. And she changed my concept of Raqs Sharqi. She changed it completely.
Wow.
I said, okay, now I understand. Now I understand why this is an art form.
And what
by watching her. And harakat basit, very simple movements. Very simple movements. Really simple.
At the right time and very subtle.
Absolutely. And absolute vulnerability. Okay? Absolute vulnerability. Let me see what you are sharing, guys. Christina says, I envy you. Yeah, absolutely. I envy myself. I envy myself. I say, why? I did not have the chance to meet her again, but I didn't. I never saw her again after that. Although I tried to catch her and I searched for her and I asked musicians for her, but she was nowhere to be found. So I remember those classes as groundbreaking. There is a perception of dance before those classes and a perception of dance after those classes with Suher Zeki. And this, I believe, is the secret. If there is a secret to great musicality, is absolute vulnerability. You have to leave the music from within. You have to put your life into it. Okay, your real life, your real memories, your real emotions, your pain, your joy. If there is no emotional presence, if your life is not there, there is a layer of interpretation, a layer of experience in your dance that you will never enjoy. And therefore, there is a layer of musicality you will never have access to. So vulnerability and bringing your life into the music and bringing your life into the dance, that's certainly something I would qualify as a secret. Okay. Christina says, that's why I love older dances so much. Absolutely, Christina. I can relate, right? I mean, I've told you the episode with Suher Zeki because that particular aspect of musicality, I witnessed it with her. But we could talk about Nagwa Fouad. We could talk about Mona Said. We could talk about Aza Sharif, the really good Oriental dancers. Fifi Abdu for Baladi. She had the best baladi ever, the best I've ever seen. The best baladi awadi. عشان يعني هي بلدي برضو. She's baladi. She's بنت البلد وبنت الجدع ومعلمة وكل حاجة. She is that. So it's easy for her to go into baladi mode. But there is certainly a soulfulness in this older generation of dances that unfortunately I feel it has been lost. Other things have been gained. Okay, so guys, I'm going to give you an opportunity to share your last questions or comments if you wish to share them with us. And once again, I'm going to announce the pre-launch of our new online course, Rhythms for Oriental Dancers. This is going to be an 8-module course distributed between 8 weeks. So every week, we're going to give you a specific Egyptian rhythm. We're going to cover 8 Egyptian rhythms. Mr. George is going to be with me on 2 special edition live sessions, one on rhythmology, another one on a kind of a dance party with percussion. And we're going to go deep into those rhythms and we're going to dance to them. So I have prepared different combos for each rhythm, allowing you to read the structure and read the ornaments and really get into the style and the feeling of the rhythm. We have an early bird, a pre-launch price only inside our school. So if you are interested, after we close the session or while you are watching the replay, check the link that I'm going to share in the comments and follow that link for more information about the course. The pre-launch and the early bird price will be available for a short time, so catch it while they're available. And of course, I will thank you in advance for being with me once more in another adventure, another course. It's going to be exciting. And let me see who was with us. Christina, thank you for being here. And Juniper and Jamila. And let me see who else was with us. Let me see. Nyota, Kay, Star, Tamara, Joanna, Isabel, Denise. Thank you for being here. Christina says, George Sawa is a true treasure, incredibly knowledgeable.
Thank you,
Ai,
Christine.
ué, a vocês.
And during the rhythm, I'm going to give you a test with the eyebrows. What is this rhythm?
Oh, okay. That's a challenge for our course. So if they want to take the challenge and discover, they have to join us. Tamara says, Joanna and George, you are incredible together. Yes, Juju with Juju. Juju with Juju. Thank you, Tamara. Hi, Stunel. Hi, Stunel. Hi, guys. Anyway, I promise to address your questions if we haven't addressed them today in some way, shape, or form. Okay? So none of your comments will be lost. Thank you again, Mr. George, for joining me. Thank you for your incredible generosity and knowledge and fun also, because that's important. Thank you for everybody who was with us live and for the dancers who are gonna watch the replay at Joanna Saída's YouTube channel and also here in on Facebook. And once again, if you want to go deeper into rhythms, specifically 8 rhythms that are basic mandatory knowledge in your Egyptian dance expertise, feel welcome to join the pre-launch of our course, Rhythms for Oriental Dancers. The link is going to be shared right now after we close in the comments to our session. And there is a gift for the first 5 dancers who subscribe. There is a surprise gift. So if you're interested, catch it now and you're going to get that gift as well. Okay? We're going to contact you via email and let you know if you were one of the lucky first 5 students who subscribed. Okay? Much love. Shukran.
See you later.
Bye-bye, everybody. And see you
guys.
soon. Mwah.